Should, would, could. What is the difference? There's always been a confusion around the usage of these words. Hope this video today clarifies our doubts and give us more understanding on where to better use these words appropriately. So, how to identify and differentiate on the usage of should, would, and could? Let us understand. Should is the past tense of shall. Should expresses an obligation, a necessity, or in certain cases, a prediction. For example, if I ask you, what should I do to improve my handwriting? Your answer would be, you should practice handwriting to improve on it. So that's a necessity. Would, on the other hand, is the past tense of the modal verb will. So would expresses a possibility, an intention, or a desire. For example, would you like some tea? So it is expressing an intention. Could, on the contrary, is the past tense of can. So could expresses permission, offer, a polite request, or in most cases, an advice. Could you help me? So this is a request, a polite request that you're putting forward. Now, should is a very independent form of a modal verb. So should can be used in affirmative sentences, negative sentences, as well as questions, depending upon the situation and the scenario. So let us look at a few examples here of affirmative, negative sentences, as well as questions to understand where to better place them. So when we look at affirmative sentences, we can use should in cases like, you should brush your teeth twice daily. So that's a rule, that's a necessity, an obligatory rule that should be followed regularly. You should always obey your parents. So again, that's a thumb rule. There's no two way about it. One should be responsible for his own work. So that shows the liability, that one should be responsible for his own work. He should have attended the meeting. So this is an advice that he should have attended the meeting. In negative sentences, we can use should in scenarios like, you should not raise your voice at elders. So that is something that you should not do as a thumb rule. You should never raise your voice at elders. He should not be answerable for the acts of his father. So it is a negative form of liability. In other words, he should not be liable for the acts of his father. She shouldn't have gone out in the rain. So that is again a suggestion which is used in negative format. So I advise or I suggest that she shouldn't have gone out in the rain. I shouldn't have eaten so much junk food. So again, it's an advice that I'm giving myself that, oh, I ate too much junk food, I'm not feeling well. I shouldn't have eaten so much junk food. So let us look at constructing some questions with should. So we look at the questions here. Should I take your book? So I am asking for permission. Should I take your book, please? Should she get you some tea or coffee? So that's like an offer. Should she get some coffee for you? Why should you feel guilty if you have not participated in the crime? So that's a customary action. So it means if you have not participated in the crime, why should you have the action of feeling guilty? Please advise who amongst us should be nominated. So that's an advice. So you are seeking for an advice from the next person that who amongst us should be nominated. What kind of food should be kept for breakfast? So that's again a suggestion that you're looking out for. What kind of food should be ideal for breakfast? Which book should I read during my vacation? So you are either looking for an advice, a suggestion, or opinion. Which book should I read during my vacation? How many mangoes should be given to each boy? So in other words, you're taking permission of how many mangoes has to be given out to each boy. So now that we have some more clarity on the usage of should, we will move on to the usage of would. So would again is a very independent modal verb that can be used in affirmative sentence, negative sentence, as well as question. So let us look at some affirmative sentences. I would do my homework regularly when I was a student. So it's the past tense of will here. It is showing a past habit. I would do my homework when I was a student. Probably not anymore. Trust me, I would have given you the money if I had. So it is showing a customary action. If I had the money, I would have given it to you. But now that I do not have the money, I could not give it to you. You would have loved the delicacies of that particular shop. So that's a wish or a desire. Only if that particular shop was open, you would have loved the delicacies of that shop. One would have to study hard to acquire good marks. So what is shown here is an intention. If you have an intention of getting good marks, you would have to study hard. We look at the negative sentences. You would not have liked the taste if I had put too much sugar. So have I actually put too much sugar? No. But if I had put too much sugar, you would not have liked the taste. So that's a possibility. I wouldn't have understood the value of blessings at a tender age. So that's again a narration of the past. When I was small, I would not have understood the value of blessings at that tender age. It wouldn't have been so hot last year. So that's like a prediction of the past. Or you are just guessing that it would not have been so hot last year. There would not have been so much fear for corona among people if there had been cure. So that's a future prediction that you are making. Or you are assuming that only if there had been a cure, there would not have been so much fear for corona among people. So these are the ways of using would in affirmative as well as negative sentences. So here we're going to look at constructing questions with would. So the first question, where would you go at this time if you did not have a house of your own? So this is a question you can probably ask your friend. So this is a customary action that is portrayed here. It's not that your friend does not have a house, but you are just concerned, if your friend did not have a house, where would he go at this time? What would have been your reaction when your mom first slapped you? Again, a question to your friend. So you are talking of a customary action in the past, how he would have reacted when his mom first slapped him. Which dish would have been your favorite had you not been on diet? So your friend comes and tells you, hey, I'm not going to eat any junk food today. I'm on a diet. And then you kind of question back, which dish would have been your favorite here had you not been on diet today? The next question is, why she would have failed in maths when she seemed so intelligent to me. So this is like you're questioning yourself because you believed that she was intelligent and should have scored good marks. But when she kind of disappointed you, you are questioning yourself why she would have failed in maths when you thought all along she was very intelligent. What would have been your go-to place if there were no travel restrictions at this time? So this is a question that can be asked to anyone. What would have been your next go-to place if there were no travel restrictions due to the current situation? So these are a few examples of questions that we can make with would. Whoa, we've covered quite a bit. So now that we have covered on should and would, let's move on to the usage of could. Could is also an independent modal verb which can be used in affirmative and negative sentences as well as questions. So let us take a look. First, affirmative sentences. I could do my homework on my own as a child. So shows my past ability. I could do my homework on my own when I was a child, not any longer. Trust me, he could have been more successful if he was alive. Shows a possibility. If he was alive, he could have been more successful. Let me guess, what could have been your favorite read? So that is a question you can ask your friend. Maybe you met after a long holiday and you're like, hey, what have you been up to? Let me guess, what could have been your favorite read during the holidays? You could have acquired good marks if you had studied well. So shows a customary action. If you had studied well, you could have acquired good marks. But have you actually acquired good marks? Oops, you've not studied well. Negative sentences. I could not have had a spicy dish. Shows your inability. She could not have won the competition to Seema. So you believed that she was incapable to have won the competition to Seema. You couldn't have loved your stepmother the same way. So that was an impossibility in your thought process. You believed one could not have loved his or her stepmother the same way. One could not have finished such a lengthy paper. So that's again your assumption. You believed one could not have finished such a lengthy paper. So these are possible ways of constructing affirmative and negative sentences with could. So now let us look at constructing some questions with could. Could you give me some more time? Shows a polite request. Could you be a little better at this? Shows a possibility. Could I get you some orange juice? You're offering. Could it sound rude if I put my point this way? You are kind of guessing. Could I please block your calendar? You are taking permission. Could the price of fuel go up during the crisis? You're predicting. Could you not finish your report? Shows a question simply. So these are possible ways of constructing questions with could. If you like this video, do not forget to like, share, and subscribe. Thank you for watching.